sent our lawyer, he came. Brought a document, set up, mode of work. Everything Peter and Paul 50-50. Every decision 50-50. Sharing formula 50-50. We signed. We started up. Square Root Entertainment. We started up. Now, we started doing shows, started the Psqare reunion. While we were planning the Psqare reunion, I overheard something that was very disturbing. Like, it was very disturbing. Proud to Paul's apology to my wife that Jude and Paul had a serious fight. Remember, we're neighbors. Yeah. And I started doing my investigation. First of all, I wanted to play ignorant, like, no need, But 4, or should I say 3 individuals from Paul's camp confirmed it, that Paul and Jude actually had a fight. Minutes or hours before Paul came to my house to meet my wife. And this was what I discovered. That Paul claimed he borrowed Jude 90 million. Now, he wanted Jude to give the money back to him, but he wanted this time Jude to borrow him 90 million because there's some property he wanted to buy somewhere in Lekki that he doesn't have the complete money. That even with the 90 million he want to borrow from Jude, it's still going to be complete. The money is not going to be complete at the end, but I need to give it to the owner of the property as a deposit. But when he approached Jude, that was when they had that issue. And that Paul's PA and I think maybe his manager were there. Paul already told them that, oh, listen, Jude is owing me. So that night they had an altercation that when Paul approached Jude, they said, hey, listen, I need my 90 million. Paul Jude said, which 90 million? The one I gave you, how did I borrow 90 million from you? Everybody around were looking at Paul. Okay, you've told us that Jude was owing you 90 million. Jude said, show me now I'm owing you 90 million. It's not easy for Paul to bring out his phone and say, look at how you are owing me, blah. Paul couldn't proceed with that. Jude said, tell me now, show me how I take borrow 90 million from you. Jude now bought his phone and showed Paul's team and said, hey, listen, Paul, you said you borrowed me this money 2-3 months ago. Guys, look. Jude bought his phone. I said, guys, see. 3 months ago, see hundreds of thousands of dollars that I have in my account. But show me where you gave me 90 million. Then what came out of Paul's mouth was, Jude, you know, give me this 90 million. No wahala. I go tell Peter waiting day. Now, I'm sure most of you don't understand what that means. It means I will go and confess to Peter. Obviously, there's something going on. Despite I have heard these things, I guarantee you, I still played and I stayed calm. I believe if whatever that has happened after we broke up, it's understandable. But no. These things have been happening years, and I'm about to prove it to everyone right now. And so that was how Paul walked out from Jude, went to his bedroom, wore his slippers, because he was crying, washed his face, told his PA and his manager, he should escort him, wants to come to my house. He said, but Peter no day now, Peter die America. He said, no problem, Lola in one go meet. That's how Paul went to meet Lola. So, the whole reunion was because he has a fallout with Jude. Now, I'll come to that. We announced our world tour. We started touring. I discovered that the people handling my distribution as Mr. P are the same people handling Road Boy. I said, let's give them Psqare. Jude refused. Paul refused. This was Paul who bragged about these individuals. He doesn't even know that they don't handle my own distribution. So, while that was going on, during our tour, I discovered that some people wanted to buy Psqare catalog. They walked up to me. I said, no problem, I'll discuss my brothers. They offered millions of dollars. They can buy it off for 10 years. After 10 years, return it back or buy it off for life. So me and Paul had a discussion in London, because me and Paul were touring. Remember, Jude was not with us. Came back. When I walked up to Paul, Jude and Paul, I said, let's see how far. So Paul want to buy. Jude said, no problem. There are some people that are ready to even pay now. He now told me the amount was less. I said, no, these guys are offering more. All they want from us is to give them a back end. How much this thing generates every month, which I do not have. And I asked Jude. Jude said, it's not possible. I said, how? That these other people are better. I said, no problem. Whatever he gave the other people, give it to me. Let me give it to these people. Highest bidder. While that was going on, I kept on insisting. And I walked up to Paul. I said, why is that you doesn't want to give me this back end? He said, I don't know. But I don't know anything about this. That music I do. You know, Peter, I don't know about all these things. Really, Paul? No problem. I played ignorant. Then the same people called me. Paul's manager and my manager, who are now our manager, now said, they need to throw it to other companies like Universal, Sony, to know highest bidders, okay? They went and submit the whole proposal that Psqare wants to sell their catalog. Next thing, everyone demanded they wanted the back end. I persuaded Jude to give it to me. He now said, it's going to take 3.5 months. I started feeling somehow. If I tell you to give me your statement of account, few minutes, even with your app, you bring it. He's telling me 3.5 months. So that's how long it will take. I still play ignorant. Waited for the 3.5 months. Walked up to him after 3.5 months. He kept on doing like this. I walked up to Paul. Paul, what is going on? Say, Peter, I don't know anything about this whole thing where they talk about. I persuaded. Jonah said, I should send him my email. He forwarded it. I looked at it. What he sent me was how many streams, but without how much it generates. I looked at it. I said, look, I just sent forwarded to the two manager. Now this is where it becomes interesting. Now the two managers sent this back ends out. Nobody got back. So imagine people that have offered huge amount of money on this same catalog. After going through the tampered back end, most of them came back with an unbelievable lower amount offer. For example, imagine someone offering to buy a product for 500 naira. And after seeing the back end of the product, they're now offering 10 naira. How? I went to Paul. Have you heard? See what's going on. In fact, one of them even said, bro, who sent this to you? I said, why? Whoever that sent this thing to you Or is if it the distribution company, get them arrested. I said, it was my brother that sent it to me. I don't think your brother knows what has gone wrong. I became worried. And that's okay. The best thing I can do is we have a management company called Northside Entertainment. Director is Peter, Paul, and Jude. Jude owns 40, Peter and Paul own 30. Management company, what that means is that if you pay a Psqare 100 million, management takes 10%. Instead of that 10%, Peter and Paul are managing themselves. Meaning the manager can even go with 4 million, Peter and Paul go 3 million. The same 19 million still remains for the artist. I said the best thing I can do. I contacted all the account officers of Northside Entertainment in different banks. Zenith.